Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined in studio by Congressman Cliff Bentz. Congressman, thanks so much for taking the time.
It's great to be with you.
I know you met today with Jackson and Josephine County Commissioners, a couple of them. They say their counties are overwhelmed by illegal cannabis, as you also had local law enforcement there as well. How can Congress help?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is reach out to our United States Attorney and ask what he's doing. And then it happens that next week in my Judiciary Committee, we'll be talking with the Attorney General, and I'll be asking the Attorney General what they can be doing, because it's apparent that much of the cannabis that's being grown in your valley is being exported across this United States, and I think these folks should be concerned.
Since we're on the topic, I don't think I've ever asked you this before. Senators Wyden and Merkley have been trying for years to change federal law to allow legal cannabis companies full access to the U.S. banking system. As cash businesses, the senators are worried that they are targets for crime. Is that something you would support?
Well, it depends on whether or not the cannabis industry is willing to step up and start taking responsibility for some of the really challenging things that are happening in that environment. And so it's a balance, isn't it? Because cash businesses are notoriously difficult to manage and very, very dangerous for all involved on the one hand, but on the other, lending access to the banking system when it's still a Schedule I drug makes no sense. So a lot of work to be done in that space, and I'd have to see the final bill and what the industry is going to be doing.
You've acknowledged publicly that you are fully vaccinated. The vast majority of people dying and sick in our hospitals are unvaccinated. Should our elected leaders do more to promote the safety of the vaccine, in your opinion?
Well, I think if I'm an elected leader, and what I've been saying to people is, yes, I'm vaccinated, but I'm not the boss of you. It's up to you what you're going to do. I try to say to folks, don't listen to politicians. Talk to your doctor. Talk to people that actually know about these medicines and the risks of these vaccines, and then make an informed choice.
So elected leaders shouldn't use their elected power, if you will, to tell people, not to tell people what to do, but to speak the truth.
Well, you certainly want to speak the truth, but most politicians are looked at skeptically by just about everybody. I would strongly recommend that folks that haven't been vaccinated talk to their doctor, talk to somebody that knows this space.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll have much more in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to our 5 on 5. Again, we're here with Congressman Cliff Bentz. Congressman, the Oregon legislature approved a new congressional district map that, if it survives legal challenges, will have you no longer representing Bend or Redmond. What do you think of this?
Well, I'd be very sad to lose Bend and Redmond. I have lots of friends there and know the space extremely well, and it's a beautiful part of the state. But my district has over 100,000 more people in it than will be allowed in the future. So somehow my district has to shrink. And so I hate to lose that space, but I hate to lose any space. So we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. Yeah, I'll be sorry to see Bend and Redmond go if that's how it ends up.
I'm sure it'll come as no surprise to you. You've probably seen it. A group of Oregon Republicans, including former Oregon Secretary of State Bev Clarno, are challenging that map we're talking about through a new lawsuit. What's your reaction?
Well, I had heard that they were going to challenge it, and the lawsuit was filed Monday. And when I looked at the map, and I've been trying to stay out of it because that's not my place, but it looked to me as though whoever drew those maps, and I think it was the Democrats, did so using Portland rather liberally to overweight, shall we say, at least 4 of those districts with Democrats, and I think that needs to be looked at.
You told me early this year that the election wasn't stolen and people need to be looking forward, not back. Why are so many of your GOP colleagues not following your lead?
Well, I don't know. We'd have to ask them. But what I've tried to do is say to people, look, the challenges that the Biden administration is creating are enormous, and we need to be focusing on this higher inflation. We need to be focusing on the border. We need to be focusing on all of the things the Biden administration is not doing well, and try to figure out how to fix some of the problems the Biden administration is creating.
I was telling you earlier before we began recording, this is, I believe, your 4th 5 on 5 of the year. I think in all but one of them, I've been talking to you about the infrastructure bill. Any thoughts on the current negotiations with that? Is there any reason you might support that?
Well, the infrastructure bill has not changed, as I understand it, since it emerged from the Senate. And there was some Republican support in the Senate for it. But when it got to the House, it didn't change at all. And that meant that the House Republicans had nothing to say about what's in that bill. I had a bunch of different thoughts about that bill, but none of them made their way into it. And that's partially because I'm not on the committee, but none of my friends, the Republicans, thoughts made it into the bill either. So no, I won't be supporting the bill.
So you've been in Congress for 9 months now. What's been the biggest surprise?
Well, the biggest surprise has been that there are a lot of people there that are trying their very, very best to do good things for this country, contrary to perhaps what sometimes you see on some media outlets. People are trying really hard to deal with really difficult, challenging circumstances, and I'm very happy to be there.
Well, thank you so much, Congressman. I know you're not in town long. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.